Just had a real quick question for you, regards just to the follow-up for Angela, and wanted to know, obviously, with this situation for baby Rowan, there's nothing necessarily we can do about him, but believe that fully that he is with the Lord right now. But just what you just said, because the gospel is true, what kind of follow-up is being done for her, and maybe her response or anything like that since this film?
Well, I became, we'll call her Angela's friend, very shortly after the death of Rowan. So I got to share the gospel with her. I got to be with her for a whole night in a hotel room. She was very desperate to tell her story. She thought that something should be done when an infant is born alive. It was really seeing her son alive. He startled when she cried out. When she held him in her hand, he wrapped his fingers around her finger. When he heard her voice, he turned his face toward her. He recognized his mother's voice. So she had a great deal of guilt, legitimate guilt, because she had purposely come to that place to have her son's life taken away. But I shared the gospel with her that night. I explained to her what real repentance was. She wept over her sin. She cried out to Jesus Christ. I'm very sad to tell you that she had counselors in the church, a Christian counselor, a pastor, and many professing Christian friends who encouraged her to kill her son. So be careful who you get spiritual advice from, because who would want a child dead? The Bible calls the devil the murderer from the beginning. Since we're made in the image and likeness of God, the devil wants to destroy the image of God. So we've been friends now since 2005. She has a lot of wonderful, believing friends. She's a part of the church where she lives. And I'd like to ask you who are believers in Jesus Christ to hold her up in prayer, because she's been very brave. I wouldn't want the most shameful things I had done made into a film, even if I thought that it would really do a lot of good. I don't know if I would be as brave as she has been. And she, tomorrow night, Ángel is flying to Washington, D.C. for another premiere like this. And baby Rowan's mother is going to be on the panel. Lord willing, if she has the strength to do that as part of her repentance, like a restitution part, there's nothing wrong with that. It's to bring good out of something very evil. And so please pray for her, because you can just imagine how difficult that is. And if the Lord doesn't want her to do it, please pray that she's released and in peace, that she doesn't have to do that. Okay? Because when Jesus pays for your sin, he casts your sin as far as the east is from the west. So she doesn't have to earn her salvation, but she's doing this to try and save the lives of other children and help other mothers to avoid seeing their children born alive, and for them to consider that she very much wishes that she had the blessing of being able to raise Rowan, just like the dream that Ángel included in the film. As soon as she saw her son born alive, she thought that God had certainly given her son back from the grave, and that she was going to be able to raise him. So please pray for her.